everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to crochet, and a good starting project is the humble granny square because all the skills that you need to do a granny square will transfer to every other crochet project that you'll ever do. We're just going to do all in one colour, but this is an example of one in several different colours. Okay, so I've got my hook. I'm using a 3.5 size needle. You can use a little bit bigger or smaller. Generally, if you have really thick wool, you want a big thick needle. If you have really fine wool, you want a really small needle. Okay, we're going to start with a little, I think they call it a slip knot, a knot that has a loop, and that if you pull the tail, the loop gets smaller. So I just do it with my fingers. I cross it over, and then I put 2 fingers through the loop and pull the yarn back through, and then I have a loop that gets smaller as I pull it. I'll just do that again. Cross it over, and then with 2 fingers pull a loop of it back through. And then pop the needle in. Whoops. Okay, and that's the start. Right, it's really important how you hold your work while you're crocheting. So this tail, we're not going to use this anymore, but we're going to hold it. Okay, we're going to hold it with our thumb and our pointer finger. Just those 2 fingers, because the rest of the fingers need to control this wool or this working yarn. And the right hand just holds the crochet hook. The right hand doesn't hold any wool. So we've got the 2 fingers here that are holding the tail, and then as you continue your marvelous creation over here, you will be holding that with these 2 fingers all the time. And then I've got the yarn goes over these fingers and then is sort of like held in place by my little pinky there. Just find a way that is comfortable for you, but you'll definitely need to be holding something here. Alright, so here is the basic movement for crochet. Once you've got this, you know what you got to do. So with the crochet hook at the top, it'll come towards you, not behind the thread, but towards you, and then under the thread. So not this way, that won't work. It needs to go towards you and then under the thread. And then you sort of catch the thread in that little hook there, like that. And so if you're pulling this to the right, the thread is staying under the little hook, because what you're going to do is you're going to pull the hook back through this loop. Okay, let's do that again. So the hook goes towards you and then under the thread or the yarn, and then it twists, it continues to twist the same way. You twist your hand towards you so that the thread gets caught in the hook, and then you can pull it nice and gently through the loop that was, or the stitch that was sitting on your hook. Now don't pull this really tight, because then it just becomes harder for you to pull this back through, because if it's really tight like this, if it's so super, oh, I can't actually make it go tight. If it's so super tight, you'll have trouble getting through. This is becoming a chain, and a chain, we often start projects with a chain in crochet. I'm going to do, I've already done 1, 2, I'm going to do 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now I have a chain of 6. Make sure you don't pull it too tight. A little bit loose is okay. Don't stress too much if it's a bit loose, but too tight will just make your life really difficult. And now I'm going to join the chain up so that it's a circle. And to do that, there might be a better way to do this, I don't know, but I'm just going to push my hook through a gap or a loop at the end, and then I'm going to wrap it around like I did before and pull it through the loop that I just pushed my hook through, and then I'm also going to pull this bit through here. And now I've still got that tail hanging out, and I've got a circle. And this is going to be the center of our granny square. There is another way of doing this. Some people start their granny squares or whatever it is with what's called a magic loop, and that's a really nifty thing to do. You can go and look up a YouTube tutorial on that, but I did start with a chain on purpose because a chain is a really fundamental part of crochet and a good thing to know how to do. Because we're actually going to do a chain right now. We're going to do a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3, and I'll explain why in a minute. Okay, so I've got my circle which is joined up, and then I've got my chain of 3. Now we're going to do a treble stitch. A treble stitch. Okay, gets a bit complicated here. All right, we are going to bring our needle towards us and then under, but we're not going to pull it through at this point. Okay, so I've got the stitch sitting here and I've got the yarn wrapped around the hook, and then I'm going to put the hook through the center of the hole. Don't try and find a gap along here, just the middle of the big circle. There it is. So I've still got my stitch, I've still got the bit where it's wrapped around and it's going through the hole. And now I am going underneath and hooking the yarn, and I'm going to pull this, it's hard to see, I'm going to pull this back through the circle. So now what I have is the original stitch that was sitting there, the first sort of wraparound bit that I did, and then what I've just pulled through the circle. I've got 1, 2, 3 things there, and I'm holding it firmly with my forefinger and my thumb, and my fingers back here are holding onto the yarn so that I've always got this big long strip here that I can twist around and things. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Alrighty, we are going to wrap around and pull this thread through just 2 of the loops. 1, 2, like that, and now I have 2 left. I'm going to do the same again. Wrap it around and pull it through 1, 2. Both of them there like that. Now this is a treble stitch. This tall thing that we've just constructed here is a treble stitch. We're going to do it again. Around, through the circle, catch it and pull it back through. There's 1, 2, 3. Around, pull it through just 2. Around, pull it through 2. So now what I have is my chain of 3 and 2 treble stitches. I've just done one there, and there's another one, and 1, 2, 3. And this chain of 3 is actually acting like a treble stitch because it's about the same height from the base of the circle up to the top here. It's acting as a treble stitch. So I've got effectively 1, 2, 3, and into this circle I want to do 12. So I've done 3, I'm going to do, oops, 4, 5, 6, I'm halfway there. That tail's getting really annoying. You could probably twist that in. You don't want to chop it too close in case it all comes undone. 6, 7, nope, that was 7. Well, there's a hair. That happens all the time. 8, 9, 10, 11. Make sure you're going into the hole, not into any other stitches. Let me just check that I've got 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wait, 13. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, 13. Oh my goodness. Oh well, now I get to show you how you can undo. Just take your crochet hook out, and if you pull this one here will be the top of the previous stitch, so you can actually put your needle in straight away and then just pull the rest off. Now I should have 12. Okay, I'm going to join them at the top of the chain of 3, which is acting like a treble stitch, by just pushing my needle into the top of it. Oh my goodness, see how my wool is on the wrong side of my needle there, so I can't actually, so I'm going to have to go back, demonstrating what not to do. You want your wool to be at your back of your work. So I'm going to go into the top of that chain of 3, wrap around. We always wrap around the same way. Back through again, and now it's all joined up. Okay, so what we have there is the first round. It's clearer to see with this granny square in different colours. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3 times 4, 12. So I'm going to start the second round, and I want to get another one of those chain of 3 so that I can be at the right height to start doing my treble stitches around this circle. So 1, 2, 3, and now I'm going to make a gap in here, and I'm going to put 6 treble stitches into this gap. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, better count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. So that's like these pink ones here. There's 3 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These will be the corners. Corner there of 6, and then we'll do another one after 3 of these. Wrap around and just do your normal treble stitch, and you've skipped 3, which is good, but they're nice and joined at the top. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can sort of see the corners beginning here and here. Let's get some more wool out. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing again. Skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and start my next set of trebles into this gap. There's 1, 2, 3. This must be really boring to watch. 4, 5, 6. Okay, we've almost finished round 2. I'm skipping 3 and making a gap here, and I'm going to do 6 treble stitches into that gap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, that was 6. I don't know what's going on with my counting today. Oh well. and I'm going to join them at the top. Now, I should have said before, you can change colours really easily. I could change colours right now. I could just get my pink wool and tie it onto this. I could snip that off and tie it on here and then join them up by going through the top of that stitch and pulling a loop through both the gap and the original stitch. Now what's happened here is when I've gone through, I've split the wool, so you can see that bit there is actually really thin. That's because it belongs with another strand. And I'm just going to pull, oh no, I'm going to actually just undo that and go back. It's not the end of the world when that happens, but so my phone ran out of storage and battery, but we're back. I've joined up row 2 and I'm going to do 3 chain stitches there to be a pretend treble stitch. I'm just going to do 2 more treble stitches in here to make a total of 3, because this is not a corner. You can see it's on the edge. These are the corners here, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So on the edges we only want to do 3 in the gaps, and the gaps are really cleared now. But this is a corner, so we're going to find the center of 6, so 3 on each side, and into that gap we're going to do 6. We do 6 treble stitches on every corner. Two, 3, 4, 5, oops, 6, and then into this gap we'll do 3, and then into that gap 6, because that's a corner. So you make a gap there with 3 on each side, you do 6, and then 3 on the edge, 6 into the corner, 3 on the edge, 6 on the corner, and then you'll join it up there. I'm going to do that now. Okay, so I've gone around and done round 3. On the edges I just did 3 into the gap, and at the corners I did 6 treble stitches, 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6, and I'm just going to join this up. Remember, this is where you can change colour if you want to have each round a different colour, or maybe 2 rounds of the same colour. So I just poke it through the top, join it up. Okay, so there we go, 3 rounds. Now this one is, I believe, 4 rounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, yep. So that's the first round with the 12, and then the next round that just has the corners, 6 in each corner. And I'll show you on this one, it's much easier to see. And then 6 in the corner, 3 on the edge, 6 in the corner, 3 on the edge, etc. And then the next round, you'll still do 6 in the corners. You can see how there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the corners, and then 3 in this gap, and there's another gap created. And you do 3 in that gap, 6 in the corner, 3 in the gap, 3 in the gap, 6 in the corner, 3, 3, 6, and then join it up. And whenever you join, you do a chain of 3 to act like that first treble stitch to get up to the right height, and then you do a treble stitch and another treble stitch, and you just keep going with that. And that is how you would do a granny square. And granny squares are useful for making things like rugs. You can make lots of these and then join them together next to each other. And there's lots of different ways you can join them. You can sew them up with a wool needle, or there's stitches you can do to join them up with a crochet hook, and it's lots of fun. I'm just going to go and get a couple of examples of how you can use these. Here is a granny square rug that I have been making for a long time. And it's just made up of lots of these, and I've stitched them together and it's basically all just random colors, but I only had 2 rules, and the 2 rules were only 3 colors per square, and each square has 5 rounds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and for each square the colors either had to go light, dark, light, or dark, light, dark. And this one would be a dark, light, dark, and this one is a light, dark, light. And then I have this blanket that you can just make out of scraps. Another way you can use crochet, which is not doing the granny squares, is by doing it in straight lines. Here's another blanket, and what you do, the way you do this, is you start with a chain, and you just do a really long chain, as long as you want your blanket to be wide or long, and then you put a stitch in each chain. And I'm going to show you how to do that now. Just get rid of that. Start again with my slip knot. And my chain, I'll just make it a chain of, I don't know, 7. Why not? There's my chain. And instead of joining this up into a circle, I'm going to keep it as a line, and I'm going to hold it here so I remember where the end of my chain is. Go up 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to do a treble into the loop next to it. It's a little bit trickier, which is why the granny square is a good way to start, because you've got a really clear place that you put the needle in. And I am just doing treble stitches all along that chain. It's quite loose, I've done it really loosely. I think for that stripy blanket I used a 2.5 instead of a 3.5 size crochet hook, just so it's a little bit tighter. And that's my first row. I'll just turn around and go back this way, popping it in the gap at the top. I put it in the gap at the top here. Some people might just go straight down into this gap. I'm not sure it matters, it's just what you want it to look like in the end. And so this blanket is just going backwards and forwards with treble stitches. So that's how you crochet. And if you were to find a pattern that has CH, that would be chain. Treble crochet is the one that we did. There are other types of stitches. There's double crochet, single crochet, but this is a good way to start.